Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Stacia. So today we're actually starting off with a little bit of footage as I was building. This is, of course, from the sneak peek from last episode. But we're kind of starting off just showing you a little bit of the building as it was coming together. I spent quite a bit of time working on this over the weekend at the start of the week. But it's still a long ways from being done, of course, but we did get a pretty good sized dent in it. I'm actually starting to get things moved over and kind of transitioning into using this base and saying goodbye to our old base. I haven't got everything moved over just yet, but I have a lot of the key things. But today, since we're going to be doing create, we don't necessarily need good power infrastructure or anything. Any of our infrastructure is moved over, really, and so it's a good time to start into a bit of create and kind of start setting up a little bit what we'll need from create. But I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of these little light tours as the building was coming together. Now you can see that the primary colors that we're using is a lot of white. We've got a lot of the black, the asphalt, and then we also have a lot of cyan glass, and cyan porcelain. And I think it's coming together nicely. I decided to go with something with a little bit lighter colors. Usually we use a lot darker, more robust colors, but I decided to go with something a bit lighter. We're going to be sitting out here on the ocean, so I think it will, once it's all together, I think it'll look quite nice. So it's mainly Portuguese pavement, asphalt, cyan, glass, and porcelain for the most part. And then I'm using the infused wood, the astral wood, for kind of the ceilings and things, just to add a little bit of wood texture, because I felt like it needed something like that, something on a darker spectrum for the rooms and stuff. Now, right now, of course, we don't have as much little details as I would like to have long term, but the cyan is really the only thing that kind of breaks away from that black and white color for the most part. Though I will say, with the plants moved over, I love the way that the plants look in this building. Alright, but back over here you can see this is all kind of getting ripped up and removed at this point to make way for our new base. I had a plan for this base, but I decided I didn't really want to go with it. It was just it just felt lazy and just meh. Just like basically I was planning on just a bunch of buildings that ran along this coastal area, and I wasn't that crazy about it. So I decided to still kind of keep near the ocean, even closer to the ocean, because now we're going to be sitting on the ocean, and instead move out here to this. So right now you can see there's a little bit of life kind of coming together over here. There's stuff going on, but I'm still kind of, like I said, I'm still kind of moving things over. This is set up to work, but basically I just don't have power being ran to the pump jacks at the moment to have them sending over oil and stuff. And I will say I used an absolute ton of block carpentry for this. Basically a lot of frame slopes, frame stairs, frame slabs, and frame trapdoors. All these are trapdoors down through here. Still very unfinished all along through here, as you can tell, but over here I'm starting to get a little pantry set up, and getting basically everything slotted that the sylph is going to farm and what's going to be farmed in the sylph room, and all this stuff is just kind of dumped in here to get it out of my way for the time being. So there's nothing in that anymore. I got it emptied. But yeah, I'm going to have a pantry there. We're going to have our glowstone stuff automated over here. A lot smaller of a setup than what we had over there, and a lot less footprint, I think. Once it's set up. Right now, of course, it's not running, but we have basically filled drawers at the moment with these things. So I was like, well, I'll just get it plugged up once I get everything kind of sorted. But we do have filled drawers over here, so it didn't really feel like a big rush. By the way, I tried moving this over because I thought, if you take a look at the infused wood, it shows that the woodcutter, the wooden utilities woodcutter, can make slabs right here, but it only makes one slab. It doesn't actually make two. I don't know. So just a heads up there. I did end up doing this method for my slabs, but and I have been getting things sorted as I move things over, And then over here, this of course is going to be our sylph chamber, our sylph sanctum. sitting in here. And I've got this brick moved because right now I have a diamond storage crate, but of course that's long term. Hopefully a short long term it's going to be an ender chest. So, but if we head on upstairs, we'll go up this side here, and you can kind of see the way this is kind of coming together. We're going to have this little platform up here, and I think I'm debating between having this open to the sky, but having these rooms and stuff come up and get a little bit larger and stuff, because actually right here where this is kind of angling, sort of, it's going to come out to here at that layer and sit on top of these supports that run down. So the building's kind of working its way in towards the center, but I don't know. I'm thinking about having the building overall open to the sky, and I have this idea for kind of these fanned out rooms, which I know probably doesn't make much sense, but it will in due time if I end up going with that. But I do have an idea for these fanned out rooms. And then over here, this of course is going to be a crusher, and we have our squeezer because we're going to be automating HLP graphite, because you know we got coal automated now, so it's going to be a hop, skip, and a jump to get coal coke and HLP graphite and all that stuff automated. And then over here, which there's no lights at the moment, what I'm planning on going with is a whole lot of engineer's decor lights, these little inset lights like down along the floor. But I just haven't got around to it yet because my steel creation is not working. I don't have power over there, so I was just like, ugh, I'll get it moved and I'll get it sorted. So the building's a little bit dark at the moment. Over here is kind of our little side area. I went ahead and made all the different guns. These don't actually have anything on them to make them any kind of good, but they're just decorative. And of course this is the one that we actually do use, and then I made the armor just to stick it on the stand there. And then we've got crushers over here. This is going to be for our, these will be for our oil processing for the time being until we move to something else. Just the crushers that we had set up over there. Back over here we have metal presses, and now we have 4 of them, and each one, these are glass item frames from Quark holding the items, and all of them feeding in. You could see that these feed directly in, and the one that makes the gears feeds onto a conveyor belt to feed in. So we can make everything over here, and it's set up kind of for future upcoming automation for that. So, and then over here, this is how we have our oil system set up. So you can see it's light gray, light gray, light gray. It comes in on, all of the fluids come in on that from the distillation tower. So we have the diesel, the gasoline, and the lubricant come in. And so gray, gray, gray here. And these feed out into tanks where they are filtered. So lubricant and diesel and gasoline. These go into tanks, and then from the back of these tanks, they're extracted into their specific lines. Which actually, I missed this. Not really a big deal, but I did miss this, so I'm going to go ahead and just disconnect that. There we go. So these are fed out to their respective lines, and then go into an ender tank, where then they can be sent off to where lubricant's needed or where gasoline's needed. And these are the jumbo tanks from Mop Grinding Utilities, because they store 1,024 buckets, and they don't take up a whole lot of space. Though I do still plan on using the immersive tanks for maybe decor. And I did drain those tanks. That's why there's a lot of extra ender tanks, because I was using those to kind of drain out those tanks that were over there. And get everything sent over here. And then this side will be creosote. Red, red, red is our creosote line. Of course, it's not running at the moment because I'm not making coal coke, but yeah. And then up here, this just takes us up to the top. And this is where, right now, we just have still that ender cell, that starter one, plugged up. But we will be upgrading that for sure. How did I get bees? I do remember seeing some bees flying around the ocean. I don't know where they're homed at. But yeah, apparently we have bees. I guess they were looking for plants and found our little area here. So I'm setting this up so that the sylph can farm like everything. We're going to have decorative flowers and just all of that. I'm not really sure if the sylph can farm aura blooms. I don't see why not. So I set them in here. And I've got some other stuff to put in. But right now she's not happy. She will be in due time. But right now she's very unhappy. She does like the diversity though. There's a lot of diversity here. but but she's living in the center of this building, so I'm going to spruce that up. But yeah, so anyways, that's where I'm up to at the moment. Still very much a work in progress. It's taking some time. Tyler was uber helpful, and if you notice in one of the cuts, I went by these two drawers here. Those are drawers that Tyler had actually just brought over. But it kind of worked out because I was actually thinking about automating Living Rock at that time. I was like, I need to get something set up. But I was like, I don't know where it's going to go. I was having to manually make it, which didn't really take a long time, of course, with vein mine and getting 3 Portuguese pavement to each Living Rock. But then he brought that over, and I was like, oh, good. That'll be uber helpful just as far as getting this building built out. We probably won't use it for progression. We're still going to automate Living Rock, but it did come in super handy for building this out. So, but anyways, today what we are going to be doing is we are going to be diving into some create. This is really one of the last big things that we need to get out of the way for our next progression push. And so it is time. It is time. And I'm still going to be going with my original design that I had in mind for create, because it'll work just as well, if not better, because we're still going to be going with oil, solar, and wind power. And wind power, of course, not being much for electricity, because immersive engineering's windmills just aren't big enough to do anything with, realistically. At least in terms of this, I mean, they work fine for like Enigmatica, albeit I still think they're a bit small, but they work okay. But those windmills are just, to me, they're just kind of decorative windmills. But luckily we have create. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be making ourselves, the idea is we want, I think it's 21 of these for this kind of crafting here. We're probably going to need a couple layouts, so eventually I probably will be setting up quite a few of these. But what we're going to be setting up for our mechanical power today is going to be able to handle pretty much running all these things. Yeah, it looks like we're going to need this for a lot of things. A whole lot of things. That's fine. But in this pack, when it comes to making mechanical crafters, we can make brass without having to go through the create method. We can just do these brass ingots here, which we can make through the alloy smelter copper and zinc. And so I'm going to get a bit of copper and zinc running before we even start on to setting up our mechanical power. And we'll just set this up, kind of a temporary little placement, and get this running, making us that brass. Now, I'm not going to be doing a ton with create in this series because, of course, we do have Valhelsia going. I know there hasn't been a video for Valhelsia for a bit. I've been working on something, but there should be a video. I don't know if it'll be this week because my recording time this week is going to be really, really short because my birthday's this week, and you know it's going to be busy. We got a bunch of stuff planned, so probably nothing that's like normally considered birthday stuff, but we're going to be doing a bunch of cooking and things, which is what I enjoy doing. So I know my recording time will be a bit shorter this week, but anyways, let's go ahead now and let's get our mechanical power set up, and we are going to need just a bunch of andesite alloy for starters. It's actually kind of terrible right now because my base is kind of split like this, so I'm having to like pop back and forth, but it's okay. It's not too bad whenever I'm just building, but it is a little bit troublesome whenever I'm trying to do any kind of progression work. And by the way, I do have a mega torch in the middle of the base. Since I don't have lighting yet, I didn't want to have to deal with mobs. And so I just have a mega torch from Torchmaster set up at the moment. But let's go ahead now. Let me find what I want here. Windmill Bearing. This is what I want. So we're going to need to get ourselves a turntable. That should be fine. And let's go ahead and get ourselves like a stack of shafts. Probably going to need more of these before the episode's over. Because of what I have in mind for our power. Now let's grab that. And let's get ourselves a windmill bearing. Okay, we just need one of these. And then I'm going to want, of course, super glue. And I'm actually going to want a few of these. These take iron plate, iron nugget, and then slime. Which my home location is now set up inside of that base over there. Because I was doing carry-on, and it just made it easier to be able to do carry-on. Oh, this. Yeah, I got to talk about that. Let me see about this slime real quick. But I was doing carry-on, and it is so much easier to just be able to do /home to get back. Yeah, there we go. That's what I need. And I think I've got some iron plates made up. Those presses are plugged up. I actually used them to make a bunch of hoppers here recently for something that I'm going to be setting up. But yeah. Over here, though, I don't know what's going on. This started happening. And I've dug around, you can see, trying to figure out where the sound's coming from. It's like something's teleporting or something. And it's been going on. It's super obnoxious over here. Oh, and by the way, for the carpenter blocks, I was running out of string. And so over here, I have a spiderweb sapling I made to farm my string. Since my sylph was... I plugged her back up to get cyan dye. I had to set her back up over there, but that's why in some of the cuts, you'll notice the summoning crystal wasn't there. But I think I've got enough. I'm going to be setting all this back up. I just have to get all of my my mana system moved back over. Basically, my blood magic altar and stuff. I have to get that moved over to here. Alright, so we need to get ourselves a bit of super glue. Let's get 1, 2, 3, 4 should be good, I think. Okay, so if we come down here, and we come out, say to right, here. Yeah, it should be good. Then let's come up. Actually, holding shift for this works extremely well with our little floating accessory, because it allows me to just kind of float up. That's probably good. The nice thing about the create windmills is we have full control. So that's 101. I think that's reasonable, because I want them to be kind of tall, kind of like stand up really nicely. And let's do our windmill bearing setting right here, I think. Oh, I'm going to want a wrench. Say, do I have everything on me to get a wrench? I doubt it. Because it takes gold plates and a cogwheel. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get like 3 stacks of buttons, because you use a lot of wooden buttons within create usually. I mean, that's probably more than what we'll need today, but over time we'll need some. Need a few. Probably. I don't know. Like I said, we're not going to go nearly as big as in Valhelsia, because Valhelsia is just kind of like, that's what we're working on. More specifically is create in that series. But alright, and you can see that these are going to curve the way I have it set up. They just kind of curve around and get deposited into this chest. Okay, so let's pop up. We'll get our wrench. There we go. And there is our wrench. Okay, so let's rotate that. We want the windmill bearing to face off in this direction. And I'm going to put in... Let's see. I think. Because we're going to need to use some windmill sails, but we're not actually going to have them visible. I don't want them visible for this build. So these right here, these sail frames, we're going to want a bunch of these. Let me pop over, and we'll make a bit of these. We're going to be going with quite a few of these windmills long term for just kind of decorative purposes after a certain point, but we're going to be going with quite a few of these. Alright, so sail frames, what we're going to do, these don't require glue, so we don't actually need glue for these. But for the basically the outer casing, because these, I don't want them visible, because they're going to look really, really, really ugly. For this block, it actually doesn't matter what this is, so we're just going to go with diorite. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh, hey there. Let's go ahead and come underneath this, and I think, no, right there. That's going to be where the windmill bearing's at. That's the first piece, and then that's the second piece. Let's go into like right here. This is 73. I think that is that going to be enough? Yeah, because we're not going to be walking underneath this. So here, yeah. And then we're going to just go ahead and build this up. Straight up. We're going to start from the bottom because I think it's going to be easier to go from the bottom. Build this and then build the other two. That way we got a size that we're going with. And this is going to be like maximum efficiency. Way over maximum efficiency. Or maximum speed, I should say. So that we're going to be like overkilling it just a bit. Alright, so that brings us up to this block here. Okay. And for this block, we're going to go ahead and just put on some glue and then just attach that. If we were to start this up now, this should spin. You could say that comes up. Yeah, I like the speed too. Though I think it might speed up a little bit probably once we get the other windmill cell frames on. But alright. So now what we're going to do is that was 36, 28. Yeah, so 28 high that we built up. And then we're going to come out, I guess we'll come out the sides. These first ones will be a little bit awkward trying to place these out. Let's go right here. We're going to come out there. And we're going to come out here. Yeah, I think this will actually work out pretty nicely for us. And then we're going to come up. And this is 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I need it to be straight up like that. I'm just going to have to play around with this at this point. Okay, let me see. Let me go sleep real quick. Because this like rain and darkness isn't helping things. If we start this up, you can see it's spinning a bit faster. Which right now it kind of looks funny because that one's all zigzaggy. But once we put the outer casing on, it won't be so bad. I don't think. Okay, so that one hits there. That's way too long. Yeah, I gotta cut down the size of this one a bit. Quite a bit. So let's go here and we'll find out kind of where we're at. Okay, so that one hits right on the block. This one is going to be a bit short now. I need to extend it by, I think, 2. So we'll do that. I mean, you could probably just math this and sort it out pretty easily, but it's not going to be exactly 28 blocks. And so figuring it out, I just prefer to just build it out, to be honest. So let's try like that. And then once we get this one done, then the other side's going to be pretty easy. So yeah, there we go. That looks a bit better. So this one's going to hit right on the block. I think I might add one more piece to it. No, it hits actually like pretty accurate. Okay, so let's pop back up. And we're going to do, basically going to mirror that one onto the other side. And of course what we're building is going to be a turbine, a wind turbine. Just trying to get the everything right. 121 and brought over. So okay. Okay, so there we go. That should be all sorted. And then if we activate this back up, we pop out a little ways just so that we can see it. But yeah, these need to straighten out a little bit because that angle, it's not right. That's fine. I thought like, I don't know about this, but how do I get ink sacs? Okay. That's fine. This is an easy enough fix. Okay, that feels a little bit better. I do need to bring it out, I think. Well, let's see when this one comes around. Yeah, that one cuts into it just... no, maybe not. So now what we can do is we can run this out. My plan is we're going to run this back let's see, this will be the cap. And I think right here we are going to switch this out now for a vertical gearbox. So andesite casing, a lot of planks, a lot of wood. Okay. Let me pop over. We're going to get this stuff ran, and then we can encase this entire thing, basically. In our material that we're going to use, add a little bit of, maybe a little bit of color. You know, usually wind turbines will have some red or blue. We maybe go with some cyan mixed into the blade just for looks. So let's get ourselves, yeah, let's just go with 40 andesite casings. And then we'll get ourselves our gearbox and then vertical gearbox. And then we can set this up right there, and that way it can start getting that mechanical power, which we are then going to be sending down. Let me slow fall my way down. Of course, I won't get slow fall when I could actually use it. That should be good. Yeah. Okay, so we can bring this basically just straight down. To about here, I think. And then let me get some more cogwheels. Because what I'm thinking kind of is like long term having one turbine basically to each mechanical crafter setup. Maybe. Maybe two. We'll see. For right now, I really just need placement for one. But let's just go with... I hate the way night vision flickers like that. There, in 1.12 there was a mod that fixed it, because I've got it in Tails, but in this, I don't know that it's been updated to 1.12. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a vertical gearbox, set it up right there, and then what we can do is just kind of have a cogwheel come off of that, and then we can run, I guess, 2 mechanical crafters, one on each side of this. Now, granted, this could honestly, it could run all the mechanical crafters without any issue, but I want a reason to have quite a few of these wind turbines. Not a ton, but a decent amount of them, because I think they're going to make our base just kind of pop and be a little bit more interesting, having that addition of the wind power on top of our diesel and our solar power that we'll be having. So these will get moved slightly, by the way, so just a heads up there. So we'll go ahead and activate that, and if we take a look, you can see that the cog down here is going to be spinning. Now, we could speed this up fairly easily, and we might do that. We'll see. At this point, we're ready to go ahead and get our mechanical crafter set up. Now, you can kind of see where I'm going with this, because the idea is we'll have the turbine here. It'll come back slightly, and there'll be a casing that comes out the back, right? Because that's kind of like where the kinetic dynamo type, or whatever the actual term for it would be, what generates that power, that motor, and then it would be sent down. So, okay, let's grab our brass. And what layout did we need for the mana tablet? Because that's what I'm really after right this second, is a mana tablet. We need 21 crafters, 3x3 extended. So over to the mechanical crafter, we are going to need cogwheels. We're going to need brass casings. So these are right here, quite a few of those. Crafting tables, and then electron tubes. Okay, so, and I am going to need all this super glue that I made in just a moment, but I think we'll go ahead and get our mechanical crafter set up first. And if we take our rose quartz, we take our sandpaper, put that in the offhand, we just hold right click, we can just sand this down. You can also throw it in the ground, but I tend to like just holding it, to be honest. Sandpaper is going to have some durability, that's fine. And we're just going to polish up all this quartz real quick. Okay, so there's our 7 polished rose quartz. And then we can go ahead and turn all this into our 7 electron tubes. And then we're going to need cogwheels. We've got that. We got the crafting table. Yeah, I'm just getting the brass casings now. Oh, actually, these make 4 at a time, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just make... There's 28. And then there is 21 mechanical crafters. And we're actually going to have the shaft come out, kind because I kind of want a housing down here a little bit. So let's bring this out just slightly to say like right in there. Let's get our mechanical crafters, and we're going to come out on this side to the right. And so we're going to put in that, 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 and then bring it out 3 more. I didn't need one down there, but, well, I do need it, but I didn't mean to put it there. That, that, and just kind of lay this out in the same pattern that it shows for, like, in our case, the mana tablet. So like that. And I'm going to go ahead, of course, just temporary until I get everything ran over. I've got asphalt somewhere. I made up a big batch. And then we're going to take our wrench. Let me go sleep. I got to come over here anyways, so. Alright, and what we're going to do, we're going to just lay this out. All of these are going to come down. Yeah, to like right there. And then we're going to have these go off to the left. This will go up and up like that. And then what we can do is we can lay out our living rock. And as soon as all these slots are filled, it'll start up. So we'll do that. And I got enough here to make 2 mana tablets. So let's just go ahead. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. All the slots are now filled. And there we go. It's going to start moving. You can see all the living rock kind of coming in towards the middle here. And if we give it just a minute, there we go. It's now picked it up. We will speed this crafting up. We're going to do a basic little speed setup for it. Basically just cogwheels to speed it up. Which we'll get to that. It's actually like super slow right now. That's okay. And then this one is going to start coming over and collecting all the rest of these. There we go. And you can see it's building our mana tablet, which I may actually end up bringing this up. That way I can have it go out the middle. Just because it would make it all look a little bit better when it's crafting if everything was crafted kind of towards the middle. So I may do that. I may push it up. We'll see. And boom. There is our very first mana tablet. And come here. Come here, you beautiful thing, you. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's so slow. It is so slow. There we go. Okay. So, there is our mana tablet. Alright, now if we wanted to speed this up, that wouldn't be too hard. So let's take a look at the cogwheels. So let me get this. Let's get ourselves a few of these large cogwheels. I'm just going to make this whole crafting process a bit faster. Let's go. Let's see. Let's actually just break off all of this. And I'd like to have the cogwheel plug in right there. This time around. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out, put the cogwheel in right there, put a large cogwheel in here, and then right here do a small one and a large one. And then what we can do is just make a gearbox. Direction doesn't matter with the mechanical crafters, so this will be fine. So let's just do a basic gearbox. There we go. Plug that in. I didn't think about those being connected together right there. Let's do and have it come in right there. That'll work out quite a bit better. And so now if we were to lay out a mana tablet, let's go ahead and actually, since we've adjusted the position, let me change this up just a little bit. So this one, these will go up and we'll come out on this side. And we'll see the speed difference, just adding those few cogwheels. This is actually quite substantially faster. You can see how fast this one spins compared to how fast these spin. It's a very big difference. So let's go ahead, let's place out our living rock. And of course that works because you have a large cog spinning at a certain speed. The smaller cog, being smaller, having less surface area, running at the same speed is going to spin faster. And then if it's connected to that same mechanical shaft, it's going to be basically spinning that shaft faster. So, alright, let's go ahead, lay this out. And you can see it is substantially faster now crafting out our mana tablets. And there we go. There is our second mana tablet. At this point, let's pop over. And now I can actually start moving mana. That's one of the reasons I haven't moved my Botania setup, is because I could not move mana. This is all disconnected at the moment, so or the blaze spawner isn't running basically. Let's see, that is, I want to switch this. I want you to give mana to the mana tablet. And if we toss that in, and we're going to be moving over to mana mirrors. I'm going to wait till I get our Botania stuff moved over to do that though. But we're going to quickly move over to this. That way we just have like infinite mana basically. I bet there's really no point at the moment doing that, because this is all going to get moved around. Alright, let's see. Our mana tablet's pretty well filled up, pretty close. And so now we can fly. And you'll see the little, at the bottom right there, right above my hunger bar, you can see that we have these little feathers. And that is our flight. And that's going to slowly drain down, then we're actually going to have to land. That zoom is a bad thing. If you hit control while you're flying, you'll do a zoom. But with our speed armor, it is extremely fast and extremely potent. And let's go ahead, let's grab this for just a moment. I don't know for sure that I'm going to stick with this one. I'll probably end up changing around a little bit. But if we take some smoky quartz, we combine it with our flugel tiara, we can get the one-winged angel flugel tiara. And we're going to go ahead and put that in. And that way we kind of have a wing. I may end up changing it though. I tend to always, I think, go with this one, maybe. But yeah, so now we have creative mode flight, basically. On kind of a cooldown sort of thing. But the cooldown, it refills quick. And that way, I just got to be careful about that control button, because the zoom is so powerful, it sends me flying. So I got to be a little bit cautious of that. But yeah, so now we can kind of fly around. I wish my flight speed was a little bit faster. I feel like it's kind of slow, and then I want to hit control, and then I just go zooming off. But yeah, and this also makes us immune to fall damage. That's another really big part of this. So, you know, if we were to shoot ourselves up very, very high, and we come in for a fall, nothing. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to get the casing built up around this. It's going to be pretty easy. I think it's just going to be monocolor. I farmed up, in the past I had started setting up, you know, I mentioned setting up a windmill. And whenever I did that, I had done marble. I don't know if that's what I'm going to stick with, is the Astral Sorcery marble. It's kind of nice, smooth, monocolor. I may go with that, or I may go with something with a little bit more of a metallic texture. I haven't actually looked through all the different blocks, so maybe... see, I don't like the ridges on this. So I'm going to mess around with it, figure out something that will hopefully work with our turbine and get this laid out. Like I said, I'm just going to build this out and do a cap, do a housing that comes out the back, bring it down, and then have like a little structure here at the base of it, where then our crafters will sit inside of there. So I might even go ahead and set up another mechanical crafter on the other side if there's something else that comes up that maybe we'll want. Actually, probably this one, because that's something that I want to move into before too long, is drawer controllers, because it's just going to make our lives so much easier. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode today. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.